I've got this issue where the seatbelt mount for the second row 40 seat is put here. Can't actually get the seatbelt into it. The way it's been mounted up, the seat's in the way. It's been mounted onto the bracket for the 60 seat that would go here. There are mounts built in into the plating, and the holes go all the way through. I can see the holes through the other side where that seatbelt mount should go, and I've seen that on other vehicles. It's just whether, so that's actually a front seatbelt mount like you would find here on the driver's side. It doesn't move back any farther this way, so I've got to see if that's going to fit in there, if I can get that to fit there. Otherwise probably just going to have to take the seat out completely and the seatbelt so that there's no evidence of it and it wouldn't actually fail. There's an M8 nut, M8 bolt. M8 is not enough. This one I've pulled off has been buggered up. It's supposed to be up at this angle, so it goes on here. I could try and wrench it back, but then maybe the MOT man's not going to be happy with something that's looking so corroded and buggered as that. I do have this one, which came out of my 2003 Defender. This is the one that's on the front, down here, which I had to remove for the MOT man because he didn't like the fact there was a seatbelt fitted in the front middle seat, but there wasn't a middle seat. So that'll go on there. Got some long M10 bolts. That one fits through. That one doesn't quite. But those bolts are not long enough. This is the main one that would normally be the seatbelt mount. The other one there. This is a hole that's been drilled and it's slightly off centre. I think I can bugger around with that to make this fit, but these bolts are not long enough. So on a Sunday I need to find somewhere I can buy some bolts or take the seat out. As if by magic on Sunday afternoon, got some 100mm. 80 might have been closer, but so when it's in this position as designed, I mean, it's not, well, this isn't designed to be in the second row seat, but it's not that easy to get. Well, you can, I guess, get that in. It's a lot easier if you do it the other way around. Backwards. You've got a twisted seatbelt. The MOT regulation is this needs to, by pulling on here, it needs to release when you pull on it. Okay, maybe that works. It's because of the slack, because it's not tied down at the moment. The other option is I turn it around the other way and use this one, which will just solve the problem completely. Yeah, that's the problem when it's bolted down. It's under tension because it's too close to the seat. So I think what I'll do is flip it around and use this one. That's in, and that works. So that works very nicely. I've looked at the MOT manual, just wondering about this bit being here. In 7.1.2 section, it talks about the fact that you can have a buckle on its own if there's no belt. That's not testable. It's not inspectable. And also a belt with no seat is not inspectable, which is kind of what I got pulled up on the middle seat on my 2003 Defender last year. It passed, and it wasn't even a minor or advisory, but he kind of brought it up in the sense that it might be a failure in future. Anyway, I reversed that so that, I mean, there's no seat there, but it was it was this one. In fact, I took it off. This came off my 2003 Defender. There was that, and the the belt on the other side. That's what it was, but no seat in the middle. That's not a failure. So, I mean, it wasn't in that situation. So this should be okay. This buckle on itself, it's not a testable item. The next question is whether they look at the stretcher kind of area and decide whether this is a seat or not, whether it should have. And if we've got some kind of bench seat, but there's no belt, is that a failure? So I'm going to take this out, make it look like a frame, and as less like a seat as possible. What has now caught my attention though is the seat belt there's a, I mean, it's got your usual sort of scuffing and stuff, but it's got a little nick in the edge there, and then down here where the thingy is, that's kind of, I can see my finger through there. There's a hole in it, you know, obviously from the door getting trapped. That could be a fail. Most likely is. I've heard that, you know, even a little cut on the edge can really weaken the seatbelt. So I do have one on the shelf, so I think it's probably worth replacing. Driver's side's got the usual sort of typical scuffing. I wouldn't say that. There's a nick on the edge. On the passenger side, I think just usual kind of wear. This roll cage has not made this easy. Nice new one fitted. Very cool. Here's some of the interesting items I've found behind the trim up there. I've got a ruler, I've got a file with a nice homemade handle, I've got a smashed thermometer, and this thing, which I think is a tool case. It's got like brushes and stuff in there. I'll add that to the pile of stuff that was already down here.